G'day legends, absolutely stoked to be sharing a new Kiive audio plugin with you guys today. This one is called the Tube KC1 and is a tube style compressor and it sounds absolutely phenomenal. So if you guys think this plugin sounds awesome and you want to check it out at the end of the video, make sure you use the link in the description below. Using that link will also help support this channel by sending a small commission back if you do end up making a purchase. That's just a great way of showing your support for the time that goes into making videos like this. Now, let's check it out. So here's the Tube KC1, and as you can see, we can change the size of this, which is really nice. You can have a nice big user interface, nice and clear to see all the knobs, especially when you're sitting back this far from the computer like I am. Now we've got some familiar looking settings here. We've got the attack, release. We also have the fixed manual and manual attack and release selector. This is a very crucial part of this plugin. And then we also have a sidechain filter over here, threshold knob up the top, got a variable ratio knob between 2:1 to 10:1. And then this is our gain makeup switch here, as well as we have our selectors over here for dual, mono, mid-side and all that good stuff. Up the top we have the mix knob as well as a THD knob, and it wouldn't be a Kiive audio plugin without their THD knob. This is a nice little additive which lets you drive a bit of saturation into the plugin. And of course oversampling, everyone's always crying for oversampling, so here is our oversampling. So we've got a track with some drums, bass, piano and vocals. And I'm gonna show you how good this sounds and everything. Okay, so this is what it sounds like on the drum bus. So pretty awesome. That's just a setting that I've dialed in. We've got the attack release selector on fixed manual, and that means that the attack is fast, but the release is variable. So if we play with the attack knob, nothing really changes, but we can play with the release time. When we have it on fixed, we have a fixed attack and fixed release. Playing with these knobs does absolutely nothing. And then when you have it on manual, all of this is variable and you can set your attack and release time. So you can see with the setting that I pulled here, I pulled the mix knob back to around 60%. Have a listen to what this sounds like on 100%. Really cool. Such a big vibey drum sound. I love that. Pulling the mix knob back gives us a little bit more of the original transient of the drum, but we still get all of that nice, big, squishy, chunky drum sound, which sounds amazing when it's all blended together. I love that. Now let me show you what it sounds like as we play with the attack and release knobs. That could be a cool parallel process sound right there, so you could blend that in. Gives you a really snappy transient, and then that slow decay of the compression. It sounds awesome. Oversampling. So there you go, that's kind of the vibe on drums. Like, it sounds cool. You can completely destroy it, or you could do something a bit gentler. Maybe we'll try a gentler setting right now. So you can get subtler settings as well, which sound really nice too. Still has the whole vibe of the compressor, but without being like super crazy and in your face. But I'm personally loving that smash sound, and then with the mix knob pull back a little bit, I think that's awesome. Hear it in the context of the full mix here. got so much character, makes the drums sound so cool and fills out the space really nicely with that big bloomy compression sound. I love it. I think it's so cool. All right, let's take a look at something else. So let's take a look at some bass. So check out this setting that I've got on the bass. So obviously it's pretty gritty. I've purposely gone for this sound. Like I want a dirty bass tone. I particularly like my bass tones with a little bit of dirt on them, especially in the mix. You can't really tell, but all it does is it makes the bass come to life a lot more, and it lets you hear it a lot better having that harmonic distortion in there. When it's a lot cleaner, it sort of just fattens out the mix, but you can't actually hear the bass that clearly. Having a bit of grit on it makes it stand out really nice. Have a listen to it with the drums. Super cool. So again, using the mix knob, I just have it on the fixed attack and release selector. So these knobs are actually doing nothing. It's just a fixed mode and basically just playing with the threshold to get the sound. So have a listen to what happens when we play with this. So you can see we can easily get a much cleaner tone. But if you want a bit of grit, having it in the fixed mode activates a really fast attack and then a fairly fast release as well. And then the cool thing is, because we have the mix knob up here, we can dial this into our heart's content. So we could pull it all the way back. Sounds pretty cool. So one thing to point out is the sidechain filter has been at 140 Hertz. So I had that set so that the compressor wasn't reacting quite as quickly to the really low end subbiness of the bass. Have a listen to what it sounds like as we play with this. See, it's not compressing quite as much now. So having it around that halfway point, working pretty well. So much character. So from clean to mean, it kind of does the thing, you know? It sounds really good. Let's have a listen to it on some vocals now. So all of these vocals had like a 2A compressor on them. I just got rid of that and replaced it with the Tube KC1. Sounds so much better. Adds a really nice saturation and like a silky top end to the vocal. It just makes them sound a lot clearer in the mix. And let's just focus on the lead vocal.
Are your hands open, or do you keep them closed?
Sounds great. Let's hear that without the compressor.
Are your hands open, or do you keep them closed? Are your hands open, or do you keep them closed?
That's pretty magic. That sounds so good to me. Like, it's cleaned the vocal up a little bit. It's made it a little bit clearer and crisper on the top. A little bit of saturation in there. They just sound way more level, and it's only doing a little bit of compression, like just a gentle bit. Obviously, we could probably get this a bit dirty if we pushed it hard.
Are your hands open?
You can hear it's getting a little bit more saturated when we push it.
Are your hands open?
Also sounds great.
Or do you keep them closed? Are your hands open? Are your hands open?
That sounds great. Let's hear that in the mix.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed?
just too like spiky. The compression is really gluing this and just sitting the vocal in the mix really nice. It's not poking out or sinking away, it's just sitting there nicely.
Are your hands open?
Let's do a higher ratio, 4:1, a little bit less compression. See how this sounds.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed?
So crisp, it sounds so good. I think that's amazing. And so I've put this across all of our vocals. Got a big stack of vocals here.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed?
Sounds so good. Let's bypass the Tube KC1 on all the vocals.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed?
They just don't cut it anymore. So this is adding more than just compression, it's adding color to the vocal. It's adding color to anything you put it on. It just makes things sound better.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed?
How much bigger does the mix sound when we have this across all the instruments? Obviously, I'm showing you this on everything. You may not use it on every instrument in your mix. You might just use it on your drums and your vocals, or you might just use it on your vocals in a mix. But this is just showing you the power of this plugin.
Are your hands open? Or do you keep them closed? Don't let you.
It's so cool. I love how that sounds. Love it on the drums, love it on the bass, love it on the vocals. And I'm not trying to hype this up. I genuinely think this sounds awesome. After 5 minutes of playing with this plugin, I had a big smile on my face because I just loved the sound I was getting out of it. And I've wanted a good emulation of this compressor for a really long time. So I'm absolutely stoked with this. If you think this plugin sounds as awesome as I do, then make sure you go and give it a try. There'll be a link in the description below. If you use that link and then buy the plugin, a small commission comes back to the channel. And that's just a great way of supporting this channel and the time that goes into making videos like this. And I've said it many times before, I will never showcase or promote a plugin on this channel that I personally wouldn't use myself. You can guarantee that this plugin is going to be in a lot of my mixes from now on. Like, let's hear those drums one more time. It's so good. It's so cool. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell as well. That's really important so that you know every time a video gets posted. If you enjoy the content that I'm putting out and you want to support this channel, consider checking out the Patreon link below, as well as visiting my website, checking out my range of drum samples and mixing courses. Any of that stuff is a massive support. If you want to check out another awesome Kiive audio plugin, then check out the complex compressor. This thing is awesome as well.